We are tied with the Houston Astros for the division lead, sitting at 38-26. This is the best we have been the entire series. We are 15-4 against division opponents this season. We are 8-2 in our last 10. Home and away, we are 19-13, and we are a positive 500 during the day and at night. We're supposedly ranked the 19th best team in baseball, but we have the second best ERA in baseball, middle of the pack offense as far as batting average goes and home runs, so we definitely look to improve there. And there's a couple of guys that I want to talk about sitting down at the AAA level who could definitely help us out potentially. You got Evan White with a 281 average, 7 home runs, and he can play first base and that's it. So that could potentially hold him down at the AAA level. But Deshaun Knowles, 291 average, 4 home runs, and 203 at-bats could easily be our newest outfield platoon guy, or just our extra outfield guy. But the most likely candidate to get the call up is going to be Andres Chaparro, who can play first base, and then we're going to have him work in some corner outfield spots as well. I know I have had him play some third base, some corner outfield, first base, but this is what his skill set tells me right here. Defensively, not too bad. Speed is middle of the pack, but the power against lefties is going up, and pretty much everything is going up. And with the way that our big league roster has been, as far as our corner outfielder struggling, Mickey Moniak with a 221 average, Austin Hayes 226 average, Shanuel's starting to improve a little bit, but when you look at our backup outfielders, Oscar Gonzalez is struggling, Kemp Alderman also struggling, Elias Diaz as well is just not playing too hot. So I have thought about potentially calling up Chad Wallach if he performs better at the AAA level, but we'll see. It's not too important that you have a backup catcher that's that dominant, but Elias Diaz is somebody who's definitely struggling. And then looking at the pitching rotation, everybody is doing their thing here in the rotation except for Caleb Ferguson with a 5.91 ERA, the whip sitting at 1.88. That's only in 10 2/3 innings pitched though, so that's something to think about. He's a positive WAR player at the moment. His K per nines are, as high as they've ever been. The walks per 9 just a little bit high, but if he can bring that down, especially seeing as how the home run per 9 is not that high. The FIP indicates that he's just getting unlucky, so we're going to see that through. No reason to panic as far as the pitching rotation goes. But here we are, a game here against the Cleveland Guardians. John Means on the mound for this one, as Andrew Wantz is going to come in to try and close this out. Let's simulate to the end of this one, and the Guardians are going to defeat us. Here's a crazy trade. Jordan Lawler for Dennis Brown. No, thank you. Dennis Brown is the future of this team. There's no reason we would ever think about making that trade. The Astros win, so they are now ahead of us in the AL West again. But it is what it is. There's a lot of baseball to play. We're set to take on Reed Detmers, though, the former Los Angeles Angel, now in a Guardians uniform. So we'll player lock game this one right here. And I think I'm going to take this game with Mike Trout. 282 average, 13 home runs. One of the best players in baseball. He's getting up there in age, but he's still performing at a very high level. So here we are in the CLE, Cleveland, Ohio, one of the worst cities in America, to take on one of the worst pitchers that this Angels team has seen in the series. 5.13 ERA, 1.65 whip, 63 strikeouts, so a pretty decent strikeout rate. He just never really performed for us. Year 1, he did pretty well. Year 2, he sucked. And in year 3, he just looked about the same, so there was really no reason to hold on to him. As we're taking on Detmers, Guardians 31-34, 7th in the AL and wild card, 3.5 games back. As we're looking to get back on the right track with a win here against Cleveland. As Trout swings through the sweeping curve. Another thing that's pretty annoying about pitching with Reed Detmers is his windup is so long. He gets set, then brings his arms all the way up, then slowly lowers them. And then he gets into his windup. So a 1-2 count. Trout's going to go down swinging on the circle change. So Reed Detmer's proving me wrong here. And the Guardians take a 2-0 lead as we go to the top of the 3rd. Maybe he just needed a change of scenery, perhaps. As Trout's going to bloop this one to right field. It will get down. As Trout's going to try for 2. Here's the throw into second. And Mike Trout is safe at second. I thought for sure he was going to be out. He must have just avoided the tag. Looking at the replay here, here's the throw into second, and Trout might have got that left arm in there potentially. Yeah, he got both of those arms in there before the tag got to him. Alec Boehm, 0-1 count, and he's going to hit this one on the ground. It is stopped by the shortstop to throw to first, and he is thrown out. An excellent play by the shortstop there to get out of the inning. Gabriel Arias with the play. Sean Skinner hit an RBI sac fly to make the score 2-1. Runner on first with 2 away for Reed Detmers on the mound. Mike Trout at the plate. This Trout is quickly down 0-2 in the count. Runner on first, I believe, is going to be Andy Ibanez, as Trout's going to pop this one up to shallow center for the final out of the top half of the 5th. So Reed Detmers with an excellent outing. If that ends his day, he sure did his thing. So we go top 8. Runners on first and second with nobody out. New pitcher on the mound, Nick Sandlin for the Guardians. Mike Trout with a .328 average with runners in scoring position so far this season. So it's one of the best hitters that you would want at the plate in this situation. Trout's going to swing and miss on the sinker. Count to 1-2. I'm going to go contact swing right here with that 86 clutch. I know he's got the 83 power, but I want to try and stay alive. That's the reason you contact swing in that situation. If I'm normal swinging that one, I'm probably going to whiff on it. The 1-2 from Sandlin is going to miss the zone to move the count to 2-2. Average speed on the base paths here, so you got to believe a base knock would at least score the runner on second. Here's the 2-2. Fouled away again by Trout. And Trout's going to go down swinging on the slider. I thought I held back. Unfortunately, I didn't, and the Guardians are going to pick up the win here. So runners on first and second with nobody out, and we can produce nothing off of it. So just unfortunate here. 2 hits for Hayes and 2 for Oscar Gonzalez. And looking at the pitching here, Michael King with a pretty solid outing. Chase Silseth did his thing. It was the offense who just couldn't produce anything more than 1 run. And it was Reed Detmers going 6 1/3, only allowing the 1 earned. So kind of shut me up, didn't he? As that's back-to-back losses, and that is going to be a series loss for the first time in a while. So now it's time to get into some scouting here. Roger Funk looks like a stud. The potential at 80 to 95, the overall, probably going to wind up being somebody who has a low overall to start. Probably like 58, 59 overall to start. Therefore, I don't think that I would be willing to take him with our very first selection. But number 2 on the board kind of tells me, well, we probably shouldn't screw around. We should probably take him. And if there's nobody else there, that might be the move. Thomas Shaw has some power against righties here. Contact versus righties could be pretty decent in the future. He did drop down on the board, though, so I think I want to take a look at somebody else as far as that goes. And Roger Funk, of course, you know, really making a case to potentially become that number 1 overall selection. So I'm going to continue to scout the starting pitchers out of the Central region, and then Lee Major, another catcher, just in case Roger Funk, you know, isn't available and we do pass up on him and he's not there. Maybe Lee Major could be there. Somebody looks like a really good defensive catcher, decent contact, vision, and discipline power. Might not be there, but it could. You never know. And then Barney Kent's going to be the next guy we look at. A left fielder sitting around that 2nd selection range. Looks like a huge power hitter. Lefty bat. So that's what we're looking for. Looks like he could have some speed, decent arm strength and arm accuracy. So that's what we're going to do this week of scouting. See if we can't come up with anything good out of that, as we are going to get swept by the Cleveland Guardians. This is a team that was sub 500. They're 33-34 now, maybe turning their season around a little bit. Sean Skinner with 1 hit, 2 hits for Luis Rengifo, and then Jordan Montgomery kind of not a bad outing, I guess, just the offense went cold. Well, here you go. Christian Bethancourt is available, a potential backup catcher. The dude has hit 11 home runs for 4 straight seasons. The Yankees are trying to pass him through waivers, so we're going to put a claim for him. And we're going to see if we can bring him in, because Elias Diaz would then be DFA'd himself if that is the case. That's exactly what I've been looking for. That's why I look at the pending transactions. But I want to take a look at these guys I showed you at AAA and see how they've been performing. Deshaun Knowles hit another home run. Andres Chaparro, and then Evan White. I think I'm going to be calling Deshaun Knowles and Andres Chaparro up to see if they can make an impact. So Oscar Gonzalez will be dropped down to AAA here, and then we will go ahead and add Deshaun Knowles to the 40-man roster and promote him to make his MLB debut, wearing number 20. And unfortunately for Kemp Alderman, a Rule 5 pickup. 256 average. I mean, maybe we hold on to him for a second. You know, he's gotten a little bit more opportunities, and now he's batting .256. Maybe we don't make a move there quite yet. But Deshaun Knowles, on the other hand, though, he is set to make his MLB debut. Maybe we'll give him a start here. We'll go ahead and take Mickey Moniak out and get an MLB debut game in with Deshaun Knowles. So the top of the lineup still continues to do their thing. It's the bottom of the lineup. Austin Hayes now up to a .230 average, so actually improving his average. Sean Skinner, .235 average, and he's still in a cold streak. But Zach Neto and Mike Trout both in a hot streak at the moment. As it's Griffin Canning on the mound, definitely turning his season around. He had a high 5 ERA at one point. And we are in right field for Deshaun Knowles' MLB debut against the Kansas City Royals. As his first opportunity in the Angels uniform is going to be a Michael Garcia base hit to right field. And here we go. Deshaun Knowles, bottom of the second, runner on first for his very first at-bat in Los Angeles. Facing Brady Singer on the mound, as the Royals have a 35-32 record, fifth in the AL wildcard, a half game back. Here's the 2-1 to Knowles as he's going to foul away the sinker. Good swing timing on that one. Was only able to get a piece of it. Here's the 2-2 for Deshaun Knowles. He's going to watch the sweeping curve miss the zone. Full count upcoming. Neto, the runner on first. He could look to run here to avoid the double play. As here's the pitch from Singer, ball 4. And Deshaun Knowles' first MLB at-bat will be a walk. In order to be a good big leaguer, though, you have to learn to be patient at the plate. That's just something you're going to have to learn to do. So you might as well get it out early, as Austin Hayes is going to go down swinging for the first out of the home half of the second. And here's Sean Skinner, still with only that one home run. .235 average, a little bit of a slump going on for the rookie. 0-1 count from Singer, and get back, Knowles. It'll be an infield fly rule for the second out. Well, if there's one guy on this roster that could get us to score here, it's Luis Rengifo. Sorry for making you guys dizzy there. Here's the 0-1 count to Rengifo. And he's going to hit this one. It's going to drop. Here's the throw to the plate, and the runner is going to score. And Knowles, with the heads-up base running, is able to advance to third. Luis Rengifo, I told you, if there's one guy in this roster that's going to be able to pick up some RBIs, it's definitely him. How about Mike Trout now, bottom of the second? What do you got for us here? Trout's going to hit this one to right field, and it's going to get down. Trout's going to be on the move here. Rengifo should definitely score. Trout's going to go to third. Here's the relay in. Trout not stopping there. He's going home. The throw to the plate, and Trout is thrown out trying to score on an inside-the-park home run. But still, 2 RBIs for Mike Trout to give us a 3-0 lead. Bottom of 3 now. 2 runners on for Deshaun Knowles, looking for his first big league base hit here. Brady Singer still on the mound in the third. And Knowles is going to get under this one just a little too much and pop it up to the third baseman for the final out of the third inning. Runner in scoring position here for Knowles. An opportunity to potentially get that very first RBI here. Here's the 1-2 to Knowles. Is he going to go down swinging on the slider? You know, that's a pretty nasty slider as Luis Rengifo. It's a solo home run. Yeah, that was a nasty slider, but still an ugly swing by Deshaun Knowles here in his MLB debut. This one grounded on the first. It's a 1-6 or a 3-6-1 double play. That's an interesting one you don't see every day. We do pick up the victory, though, so back on our winning ways. That's good to see, because if we would have took our 4th straight loss, I don't know what I would have done. Looking at the team here, 2 hits for Rengifo, 3 for Zach Neto, a home run for Rengifo, triple for Trout. And then the pitching, Griffin Canning, dominant outing. Robert Stevenson picks up the final 2 innings for us in a 4-0 shutout victory against the Royals. And the Angels have claimed 34-year-old Christian Bethancourt off of waivers from the Yankees, so that's what you want to see right there, because with that being said, he's now going to be on the team. Elias Diaz, you are being DFA'd, buddy. You just can't bat 109 as a big leaguer. You know, I get it's only 46 at-bats, but you just can't bat like that and expect to stay on a roster. So Bethancourt, set to be a free agent after this season. He's going to be picked up, and he's going to be our new backup catcher. Fernando Guillen on the mound here. one of the better players to have on the mound for you, as it's a 3-2 lead for the Royals, and they're going to pick up the victory. Herb Saunders, who we picked up in the trade with the Guardians, has strained his tricep. He'll be out for a couple of days. We'll go ahead and keep him active. This is a 4-game series against the Royals here, so we're looking to win the series. And here's Caleb Ferguson, top of the 7th with 2 outs, and he's in a little bit of a jam again. Still the second best team as far as ERA goes. It's our offense, 25th in home runs. We're not stealing very many bases, and as far as runs and on-base percentage go, we're sitting about middle of the pack. Caleb Ferguson, the one guy on this roster who, to be completely honest with you, is just struggling out of the pen. Everybody else that pitches for us has been pretty solid. As this one's going to be a base knock, it's going to give the Royals the lead, unless Moniak can deliver a strike to the plate. Not going to happen. The Royals take a 5-4 lead, and it's Caleb Ferguson yet again giving up some runs. Here's the 0-2 to Alec Thomas, and he's going to foul away another pitch, as that was pitch number 5 of the at-bat. Here's pitch number 6 upcoming from Ferguson. It's going to miss the zone. Alec Thomas really staying alive at the moment. And you're 18 pitches in now with Caleb Ferguson. It might be time to potentially think about taking him out here. You know, you don't want him to be getting pivotal moments in the game, but you have to count on somebody to come in and take care of lefty hitters. As I didn't want to finish playing the game, maybe we can go to quick manage here, and then we can just do something like this. As Trout strikes out, Ohapi singles. Pitching change here for Royals, and it's Luis Rengifo striking out. Ben Joyce coming in now. He gives up a single, followed by another single. Back-to-back strikeouts gives him 2 outs, and then a ground out to end the inning, as Andy Ibanez strikes out. Solo shot for Zach Neto to tie the game up at 5. And it's Christian Bethancourt up, as he's going to strike out. And Sean Skinner also striking out. Single for Amaya. A walk. Another strikeout. And it's Ramirez up at the plate. And Ronnie Enriquez will take over. He gives up a base hit. Now it's Vinny Pasquantino who strikes out. Bottom of the 9th. Can we potentially get a walk-off here? No, we're going to the 10th inning. There's a fly out, and then a ground out, and then a strikeout by Ronnie Enriquez. Bottom of the 10th, runner on second with an opportunity for the Angels to walk this game off. As it's going to be Moniak. This one's going to get through. We will hold the runner at third, though. No reason to be, impatient. There's nobody out, runner on third. You have all the time in the world, and you have Luis Rengifo, one of your better hitters at the plate here. Here is the chance for Rengifo to be a hero. As that's an ugly swing by Rengifo. You can't swing at that. The count goes to 1-2. Rengifo stays alive by fouling away the sinker. That's one you would love to hit to deep outfield so that you can have the runner on third tag up and win the game for you. So when Rengifo is going to go down swinging, if we blow this opportunity right here, I just don't know what to tell you. It's Andy Ibanez. Is there anybody who can potentially come in and pinch hit for him? Maybe Nolan Shanuel. I think that's going to be the move here. I like Ibanez, but Shanuel maybe hitting righties a little bit better in this situation. Maybe a walk-off can improve his confidence here. It's Nick Anderson on the mound, who I think... Never mind. I was going to say, I thought he played for us at the beginning of this series. I think that was Tyler Anderson, who played for us in Season 1. Shanuel with a 3.02 average with runners in scoring position. Sounds like some good numbers that you want at the plate in this situation. He's going to hit this one deep to left center. 66 speed on third. Here's the throw to the plate as the runner will be nailed trying to win the game. I don't know why Shanuel is throwing his arms up like he did something. So we're going to go back to the quick manage here, and there's a fly out, strikeout, and a ground out. So, I mean, holy crap. Ronnie Enriquez is playing hero here as we go bottom 11. I just feel like if I were pitching in that situation, I would have screwed up and lost us the game. So I'd rather just try and hit, even though I just screwed up the chance at winning. Here's a 2-1 to Neto. Holy crap, that is a pitch you have to crush. Neto obviously doesn't hit righties too well. You would hope that that 60 clutch could help him out a little bit, as he's going to watch the third ball across. That's Christian Bethancourt due up next for the Angels. He's new to the Angels. Could he be a hero potentially? The 3-2. Neto will foul it away. Neto will hit this one to shallow left center. This is going to be an easy pop out. Here is Bethancourt coming to the plate. 1 for 3 with a double. This is a veteran bat in your lineup here who can come in and give Logan O'Hoppe some days off and can even play, you know, left and right and first base. So maybe he's exactly what we've been looking for. He's playing in left today. He's going to hit this one. It's to left. And what in the world are you doing, Shanuel? They throw it in. He's going to get back to second. That one was hit extremely well. And it's Sean Skinner, 1 for 5. He's 1 for 12 in the series. Can he be the hero that the Angels need? As that one is a borderline strike. Sean Skinner doesn't have a very good clutch rating, sitting at 57, so that is something to think about as far as where he could sit in the lineup. Leading off in today's game, 2-1 to Skinner is going to be fouled away. Count goes to 2-2. If we can't score right here, I will just simulate the rest of the game because I'm not going to hop in and screw up the pitching, and I clearly can't do anything as far as hitting goes. Here's the 2-2. Skinner is going to ground this one to second for the final out. A 1 for 6 day for Sean Skinner. This would be a heartbreaking game to lose here. And with Enriquez getting up there in pitch count, and he's already done such a great job, that is one area that I'm going to step in and make a change. There's a fly out, a strikeout, and then Pasquantino grounds out. So can we please win the game? Boom, grounds out. Trout strikes out, and then O'Hoppe grounds out. There is a score for the Royals, another score, a 2-run home run. Robert Stevenson, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, 5 runs in the top half of the 13th. Let's just fast forward to the end of the game here. That is a devastating loss right there. Robert Stevenson's numbers do not look like that anymore. For some reason, when you hit extra inning games here in MLB the Show, they just keep pitchers in for way too long. Everybody did extremely well in this game, especially Ronnie Enriquez, except for Robert Stevenson, who now has a 4.05 ERA. Looking at the offensive showing here, Bohm and Neto both homered. 3 hits for Mickey Moniak, 2 for O'Hoppe and Alec Bohm. Andy Ibanez goes hitless. And it's going to be a split series against the Royals. In the 6-2 game that we won, it was a 2-hit day for Deshaun Knowles, so he picked up his first couple hits. Mike Trout also homering, and John Means had a pretty decent start. Now a series upcoming against a rival in the Oakland Athletics. There's no reason that we should not win this game. Montgomery has a shutout going. We do win that game 6-0. And Herb Saunders is no longer injured, so that's good to see. 3 hits for Austin Hayes, 2 for Moniak. As Mike Trout homers again. Christian Bethancourt with a hit on today's game. And then Ronnie Enriquez gives us another 1 2/3. This guy's a lot of fun to see how well he's performing. Moniak's average is up to 239. Austin Hayes is to 237. Sean Skinner now batting 213, which is just not really getting it done at the moment. Deshaun Knowles, 231 average. Ibanez has been really good for us. 33 years old, and he's been performing pretty well. Kemp Alderman can play right and left. Maybe it's time to give him a couple of starts and let Sean Skinner get the day off. Maybe that is what we'll do. And we'll go ahead and put Mickey Moniak out there in center field. This might just be for a couple of games here, but just a way to allow Sean Skinner to take a couple of days off because he has struggled, but I don't see him struggling for much longer. Horacio Walker down at AA, performing really well. Dennis Brown, 280 average. Hasn't homered since we talked about him in the last episode. Ramon Ramirez, somebody that I'm definitely excited about here. Seeing a lot of development, and he's somebody who, if he was a little bit higher overall, maybe a little older, I would contemplate bringing him up. Evan White is still performing very well, so maybe he could get the call up. Andres Chaparro, maybe the right call to not bring him up. He's in a little bit of a slump at the moment. That is a look at kind of our lineups at AA and AAA. I also want to look at our pitching rotation. Chase Chaney's done really well. Caden Dana, Victor Maderos. These guys have all done pretty well. Jose Soriano we sent down, and he's done pretty solid for us. Eric Mott, still waiting for him to come around, but he is improving, so that's good to see. Game 2 here against the Athletics. Score is 2-2. I'm going to simulate to the end of this one. We do win at 6-2. So back-to-back games in which we scored 6 runs. 3-hit day for Mike Trout, 2 for Shanuel, 2 for Moniak, and 2 hits for Kemp Alderman, who also homered alongside Mike Trout. Griffin Canyon, a pretty good start. Chase Silseth and Tanner Scott hold it down. As it's another week of scouting, Lee Major going down on our board. 84th on the MLB board. You know, he's one of those guys I think could be pretty good, but he's like 71 overall to start, and his potential is like 69. That's the type of player he is, and I'm going to not scout him anymore just because I don't need to. I know what kind of player Lee Major is. Barney Kent, on the other hand, looks like a pretty solid prospect because he hasn't moved yet. The potential 65 to 92 could definitely be a, you know, second round pickup, especially with that power. This guy looks like he's going to bring a lot of power to the plate. As far as vision and discipline goes, could be pretty low, but arm strength, arm accuracy, looks like he has some decent speed. We're going to continue to scout him, and then we'll also scout Dennis McCarthy, a switch hitter with some power. Maybe that's what we need for a first baseman. He'd probably be like a second round selection. So that's what we'll do as far as that goes. And I really haven't looked at any of these starting pitchers here. But this guy from North Dakota here, Kondo, right-handed arm, looks pretty solid. I'll see if there's any lefties on here that, you know, have kind of improved their higher. What about Charlie Spillane here? Looks like a really solid prospect. 18 years old, 6'4", 226. He'd be somebody that I'd consider taking, you know, late in the draft. But I'm not seeing any lefties. Teddy Curry, we already talked about him, but he's just not that good. 2, Corey Harden, who doesn't look bad, to be completely honest with you. He's a lefty. That's what we're looking for. He's going to be a C potential prospect, I guarantee it. But he looks pretty solid, 18 years old. And then there's also Coleman Nair. Not the stuff that you put on your, you know what, but 106 on our board. Steven Vaccaro, another lefty. So there's some lefties here. Alejandro Gonzalez. He's somebody who, 18 years old, could be pretty decent. He's not ranked on the MLB board, but there's some lefties out here for us to potentially take in this upcoming draft. It's just a matter of how good can they be. But that's what we're going to do. Continue to scout these starting pitchers in the Central region. Dennis McCarthy and Barney Kent, who can play center and right as well. Sounds like a plan to me. Well, Mickey Moniak is in kind of a hot streak at the moment. 244 average with 7 home runs. I'm going to get a player lock game with him here against the Athletics and an opportunity to sweep a rival in the division to improve our division record to like 18-4, which is just ridiculous. But he's on a hot streak at the moment. Kemp Alderman with that 279 average as well is somebody who, if he can perform that well, we may not need to be able to make any trades to improve this team. But Fernando Guillen's been one guy who is on a tear on the mound. MJ Melendez is going to hit this one back up the middle for a base knock. Moniak playing in center today. Well, it looks like Fernando Guillen's in a little bit of a jam here. Runner's on the corner. And this one's going to be hit to right center. Here's Moniak going to come up firing to the plate. And the runner will score. The Athletics take a 1-0 lead here in the second inning. As Moniak comes to the plate, score 1-0. As that's a slider you got to crush, Moniak. Mike Soroka on the mound here for the Athletics. Reminds me of Mr. Hurricane, his Athletics series. Mike Soroka was somebody that he signed in that series. So, gotta love when the video games and other YouTubers series kind of match up. But a strikeout for Moniak, so that's a little bit rough. Tyler Soderstrom. Remember this guy from Mr. Hurricane series. 1-0 to score. Guillen on the mound. This one hit back up the middle for a base hit. Nolan Shanuel with a solo shot ties the game up at 1. A rare Nolan blast. You don't really see it too often. Moniak's just late on this 93-mile-per-hour pitch here. 2 for 4 day. Last game for Moniak. And the slider as well, just having some troubles. I'm going to go contact swing here with an 0-2 count upcoming. See if I can just make contact. As a second baseman makes an incredible play, Moniak will also be thrown out for a double play. Is that Zach Geloff who made the play there? As Fernando Guillen, 80 pitches into the game, still rocking out there. As this one will be hit to left center. Moniak getting to it. He's going to throw to third as the runner's trying to extend their... He's safe at third. Runner's on the corner now with 2 away. but the score will remain at 1 apiece. Moniak with 1 year of arbitration left after this season, so don't really know what the plan is with him. I thought about maybe just not even offering him arbitration and allowing him to become a free agent. But if he can turn around his season here and perform better, which he's starting to do, I think he could stick around on the roster. It's just a matter if he stays consistent enough. As this will be a base hit for Moniak as he hits it to right field for a 2-out base knock off Soroka. And that'll bring Austin Hayes to the plate, who's batting .231 with only 3 home runs, .639 OPS. He's just not performing well. And I wish he was, because this is a guy who we paid some pretty good money to come here for $8.5 million a year for 4 years. Yeah, we paid him maybe too much money. As we go bottom 8, Andrew Moore on the mound. Bases are juiced for Moniak. The biggest opportunity of the game, where we're behind on a 4-seam fastball right down the plate. Come on, Moniak. A chance to be a hero, buddy. What am I doing? Quickly down in the count, 0-2. Andrew Moore looking to get out of this bases-loaded jam here. Here's the 1-2 to Moniak. And he's going to miss on a curveball that was left up in the zone. No advance. It's a 1-out, easy pop fly. We do win the game 2-1. Austin Hayes. Austin Hayes with the RBI that gave us a 2-1 lead here. Only 6 hits total. A bunch of guys with hits here. Kemp Alderman goes 0 for 3. Nolan Shanuel with the home run. But Fernando Guillen with another excellent outing. Even though he gave up 11 hits. That's a lot of hits to give up in a game. Chase Silseth and Andrew Wentz take care of business. But a 2-1 victory for the Angels and a series sweep against the Athletics. We're 2 games back of the Houston Astros. Looking at the wild card here, we do have a pretty decent gap at the moment. But if you take on some losing streaks, you know, you can definitely blow your opportunity in the position that you're in right now. As we take a loss to the Twins, a bunch of hits, 13 hits total. Rengifo, Trout, Bohm, and Austin Hayes all with 2 hits apiece. Bohm, Shanuel, and Neto with home runs. Back-to-back games with a home run for Nolan Shanuel. Pitching really struggled in this game, allowing 7. Chase Chaney, 1 to 2 week injury here. As we go top 8, 1 out. Score tied 2-2. And the Twins are going to pick up that victory. So a series loss. Shanuel, 3 hits. Kemp Alderman with 2. And then Ben Joyce gives up an earned run in the bottom of the 9th. And a walk-off win for the Twins. Michael King gives up 2 earned. 13 total strikeouts for the pitchers in that one. And we're going to get swept. 6-7, we get beat in the finale. You just can't, you're not going to be a playoff team if you're doing stuff like this. Shanuel with another home run, along with Kemp Alderman. Pitching did good. 6 runs. Nolan Shanuel, so he hits a home run, so that's cool. But his error led to 6 runs being charged to Montgomery. Not earned runs, but 6 runs in the 6th inning. That's ridiculous. Ronnie Enriquez continuing to be a dog out there on the mound. As unfortunately, the Astros now with a 4-game lead. We're still the #1 wild card team at the moment, but that's an unfortunate series right there. Jordan Adams is no longer injured, so that's something to think about as well. He'll be back on the AAA roster. As we pick up the win here against the Washington Nationals, Trout with 2 hits, Shanuel with 2, Hayes and Alderman also with 2 hits. So Griffin Canning, 6 innings, really good outing. Chase Silseth struggled, but it's going to happen. You know, that is definitely going to happen, as Fernando Guillen is set to start next. But wanted to talk about the fact that Jordan Adams is now back out there. He's probably going to play in left field, and somebody else is going to have to get sent down here. Probably going to be like Orlando Martinez. Game 2 of the series against the Nationals, as Fernando Guillen's on the mound here. Got another shutout going. He's been dominant in a 7-6 victory, as we allowed the Nationals to come back there. 5 runs for the Nationals in the bottom of the 9th. What in the world? 2 hits for Skinner, 2 hits for Austin Hayes, 2 for Rengifo. Bethancourt with 2, and Deshaun Knowles with 3 hits. So Skinner coming off the bench at the moment. He does get a pretty good day in the lineup, but we're not going to, you know, force him back in the lineup if he's struggling. Just let him get some at-bats here and there. A nice 2-for-6 day. And it's 1 home run for Deshaun Knowles, so his first big league home run. Luis Rengifo and Bethancourt both doubled. 2 stolen bases for Sean Skinner. Fernando Guillen with another lights-out outing. Robert Stevenson allowed 3. Andrew Wantz blows the save, and then Chase Silseth is the one who's going to give us the win, as he pitched 3 2/3 in extra innings. That's what I'm talking about. I don't understand why it does that. As it's time to scout again here, Dennis McCarthy falls to 66th on our board. Hitting kind of looks mid, can play first, third, and right. So some position flexibility, switch hitter. You know, I don't know. The hitting looks like it could be pretty decent. It's division and discipline, I think, that, you know, might struggle and could only become average. Doesn't really have an opportunity to become above average. No speed, but the fielding and reaction pretty solid. The arm is pretty weak. 6'4", 211. Not really sure how to feel about him. But Barney Kent, though, we're going to get him one more week of scouting here. But he looks like a really solid prospect to take with our second selection if he was there. We have the 47th pick in the draft, and he's sitting at 48th on our board, 49th on the MLB board. So if he was there, I probably would take him with that selection. Dennis McCarthy, should we look at him for one more week? That's kind of what I'm contemplating here. I'm going to say no. Only reason being is because I want to get a look at some different guys. So we're on week 12 of 14 of scouting here, so not really much time left to go ahead and scout these guys. We're going to get one more week out of Barney Kent. We're going to also scout Eldridge Jernigan, who bats right-handed, but looks like one of the best hitters in the draft. He bats right-handed. I can't remember if I just said he bats left-handed or right-handed, but he's somebody you could take with that third selection potentially, but we'll get a look at him real quick and continue simulating here. Actually, I'm going to get a player lock game in against the Nationals, as the Trash Pandas have 27 guys on their roster. A lot of hot streaks in this lineup at the moment. Mike Trout, Shanuel, Mickey Moniak, and Kemp Alderman, who we're going to get the player lock game in with today. Austin Hayes, the one guy who is kind of struggling still with that 237 average. It has improved. Still a pretty low average. But Kemp Alderman is kind of on a... as Nolan Shanuel homers again. This guy's developing some power out of nowhere. As here is Alderman playing in right field today. You know, he's putting up some potential Rookie of the Year numbers right now. And he's turning it into an everyday starter for us. 295 average, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 820 OPS. Yeah, Kemp Alderman really... whoa, what in the world kind of windup was that from Josiah Gray? The only reason I swung is because I kind of got scared of it. Okay, top 5, Gray still on the mound, so you got to be prepared for that wild-looking windup here. As that's a cutter that you wish you could get back right there. 2 for 4 day last game by Kemp Alderman, also with an RBI in that game. As this one is crushed deep to left field, Kemp Alderman back and gone. The 5th home run for Kemp Alderman. He has come out of nowhere. We thought about sending him back to his original team for a split second, then we decided, no, you know, he's got 2 home runs, a 256 average. Let's give him a chance. He has not looked back. Kemp Alderman is a stud at the moment for us in this lineup. Batting 9th, probably could be moved up in the lineup if we wanted to. But when we took him in the Rule 5 draft, we knew he had some power on him as the Nationals take a 3-6 lead. Way to kill the moment. But we know Kemp Alderman had power on him, and now we're getting a look at that power. Contact versus lefties could definitely be improved, but I like the fact that he can face righties and he's better against righties. I like that more than the fact that he's good against lefties. This one's 101 off the bat, 32-degree launch angle. It's hit well, deep center, and it's the 2nd home run for Kemp Alderman. He has come out of nowhere. 6 home runs on the season for Kemp Alderman. You know, I'm not going to lie. Mickey Moniak was supposed to be the one who got the thumbnail for this episode. I don't think that's going to be the case. Kemp Alderman is showing everybody why he shouldn't even have been in the Rule 5 draft. He should have been on a 40-man roster. They messed around with this guy too much. It's a 2-home run day, and it's a 5-6 lead for the Nationals. As Kemp Alderman, 2 for 3 day, steps in for his 4th at-bat. He's brought us back into this game here. Score was 6-3 before the 2-run blast. As this slider is thrown in at the knees for ball 1. as he's going to have an inside-out swing that is going to be played for the second out. We tied the game up with Trout, an RBI double, as we go bottom 9 now. Runner on first, Ben Joyce on the mound. Matt Vierling to the plate, as this one's going to be hit to right field. Alderman's going to come up throwing to third, and this one is offline. Runner advances to third, as the Nationals will walk us off and take the victory 6-7. But 2 hits for Trout, Shanuel, Moniak, and Alderman. It's 2 home runs for Kemp Alderman, and 6 earned runs allowed by John Means. 45-35 is where we sit at the moment. Still that first wild card team, as now we're set to take on the Boston Red Sox. 7-5 the score. Shanuel with a 10-game hitting streak. Let's see if he was able to keep it alive here. No, he was not. Kemp Alderman with 2 more hits and another home run. Sean Skinner with 2 hits. So definitely taking advantage of the fact that he's taken a couple of games off. Andy Ibanez with 3 hits. Michael King allows 5 in the second inning, but the bullpen shut it down. And Ronnie Enriquez still dominating when he's on the mound. 6-7 lost. Austin Hayes with 3 hits. 2 for Trout, no Hoppy. Moniak with 3. Kemp Alderman with 3 more hits and another home run. Although it was a loss, 17 total hits for our offense. Trout with another home run as well. Jordan Montgomery got shelled. Our starting pitchers are now starting to struggle a little bit, and Ronnie Enriquez with another 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. I'm interested to see what kind of development he's gotten, because he's been really good. 8 innings, 8 strikeouts, has not allowed a run yet. That overall should probably be going up, to be completely honest with you. Really liking what I'm seeing out of him. Stevenson's ERA at 4.71. I think that's really in part because he's not trusted as much. Caleb Ferguson ERA is going down, which is good to see, but our starting pitchers are starting to get rocked a little bit. And that's Griffin Canning on the mound. Can we pick up the series win? No, we dropped this one 6-7 as well. 2 hits for Trout, 2 for Bohm. Christian Bethancourt also with 2. And our starter got shelled again. 6 earned in 5 innings of work. Chase Silseth and Caleb Ferguson unable to really make up for that. So a series upcoming here against the Detroit Tigers. We win the first game 3-2. 2 hits for us, the Tigers. Mike Trout with 2 hits. Kemp Alderman with 2 hits. I mean, this guy is killing the ball at the moment. It's a home run for Trout. Alderman doesn't homer. And Fernando Guillen, another casual 7 innings, only allowing 1. Caleb Ferguson, Tanner Scott, and Chase Silseth shut it down. As we gave up some runs in the 10th. The game went to extra innings. We just really weren't producing that many runs. Game 2, we do win this one 4-1. So it's going to be a series win at least. 3 hits for Shanuel, 2 for Alec Bohm. It's a home run for Luis Rengifo and Bohm. And then John Means gives us a casual 7 1/3, allowing none, getting 3 strikeouts. And then Tanner Scott and Andrew Wantz are 1-2 punch in the 8th and 9th inning. Another week of scouting, and we have found out a little bit of information regarding Eldridge Jernigan. 5'11", 181, has no secondary positions, which I don't really like. But he does have some pop in that bat, though, as we expected. He's going to hit lefties a little bit better than righties, but he's going to be able to hit righties pretty well. This guy looks like a stud. And then Barney Kent, 100% scouted here. I think more likely, I would take Eldridge Jernigan with that selection versus Barney Kent. Jernigan looks pretty good. So I think I found out a little bit, I think I found out what we need to find out about these pitchers. We got 2 more weeks of scouting, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. I'm going to start scouting some offensive players here the rest of the way out, and I think that's just the right move. So we're going to go Eldridge Jernigan for another week of scouting, just due to the fact that his bat looks amazing. We're also going to scout Mikey Cruz here, a second baseman that can also bats left. Power doesn't look like it's going to be there, but we'll see what he brings to the table. And then Estevan Corona, a switch hitting first baseman prospect. Looks like he's got pretty solid contact. Power could be there as well, just to give us some more options moving forward. Final game of the series here against the Tigers, and it's a 2-1 victory and a sweep against Detroit. 2 hits for Trout, 2 for Hayes. Surprisingly, Kemp Alderman doesn't get 2 more hits as well, but Trout with another home run. Michael King shutting it down. 20 home runs at the moment for Mike Trout. Even with the regression that he's seeing, the dude is still killing the ball. And a lot of people in this lineup are really doing their part. Alec Bohm is another one of those guys who the trade to bring him in is really paying off at the moment. You got to be pleased with it. Logan O'Hoppe having a pretty solid year. Shanuel with 6 home runs and seeing some power increases. +5 to his power versus lefty. Mickey Moniak's turning his season around. Kemp Alderman as well. And then Austin Hayes still with that 240 average, kind of struggling a little bit. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to get Sean Skinner some at-bats again. Try and turn his season around, potentially. But as far as our bench goes, Andy Ibanez playing really well. Austin Hayes, 240 average. You know, he's a starter, though. Deshaun Knowles, definitely liking what he's bringing to the table. And then Christian Bethancourt as well. And then we do still have Andy Ibanez playing here against lefties as far as first base goes. Looking at our AA lineup, Rocio Walker still doing his thing down there. Dennis Brown, 13 home runs on the season, continuing to improve that power versus righties. Ken Nomo, kind of struggling a little bit as far as average goes. Ramon Ramirez, though, is not. This guy is now up into the 50s at every hitting attribute except for vision. You know, we may not have to take Roger Funk because Ramon Ramirez looks like the catcher of the future. There's really been no movement as far as the farm system goes. Everybody's exactly where they need to be at the moment. The only movement that we could see is potentially Eric Mott getting called up to the big league level with that 2.79 ERA, 1.34 whip, which is good for a .8 WAR down at the AAA level. If Robert Stevenson were to continue struggling, that's probably what you would see happen. Robert Stevenson in his last year of his contract, just maybe you see Eric Mott get the call up. But we're going to get through this series here against the Tampa Bay Rays. 3-2 the score, bottom of the ninth, Andy Ibanez with an opportunity to walk it off. Still second in team ERA. The offensive production has definitely gone up, 7th in runs. And then home runs were 17th with 101. That's Alec Bohm, Mike Trout, Kemp Alderman. And when Shanuel showing some power, that's definitely given us a boost. Andy Ibanez 0 for 3 on the day here. Ryan Helsley on the mound for the Rays. Here's the 0-2 to Ibanez. It misses the zone. He'll stay alive for another pitch. So I know I haven't really played a full game in a while, but I like just hopping on here, simulating weeks and, you know, getting some player lock games in, jumping in the critical moments. And then that's just my style, you know, of playing. Now, I can play some full games, but I talked about it in the last episode, you know. When I do that, what's the point of playing a full game that takes me 45 minutes to record? And then I've pretty much only been able to do that when I could cover a lot more ground by getting more player locks, building the story a little better. Now, I will play full games when the full games matter. If it's late in the season and it's a pivotal matchup, strike 3 on Ibanez. It's a pivotal matchup against a division rival that's one game ahead of us. Yeah, I think I'll play a full game of that. But at the moment, I've just been happy playing these critical moments, player lock games, stuff like that. To me, that makes it enjoyable. I feel like I am not missing anything, if that makes sense. Deshaun Knowles here, probably not the best guy to be up at the plate. So we're going to bring in Mickey Moniak. Knowles is going to go ahead and give him a 1-0 count to start. So a head start for Mickey Moniak in the count. Seeing that average increase, that's definitely nice to see the turnaround for Moniak. As he just gave us the win, a walk-off bomb in the bottom of the ninth. The Angels win this one 5-3. You know, if you were in a slump, that's how you get yourself out of a slump. 8th home run of the season for Mickey Moniak. And it's an Angels walk-off victory against the Tampa Bay Rays. As they mob him at home plate. And this Angels team has got a lot of chemistry at the moment. That's another reason you're not seeing anybody get called up, sent down. And there's really been no movement at the AA and AAA level as well, because there's a lot of chemistry in this organization right now that I don't want to disrupt. Like, there's guys out there that I'd love to trade for to bring them in and maybe they improve the team. But this team at the moment is playing like they're all they need. 2 hits for Rengifo and Trout. A home run for Rengifo is 11th on the season, and Jordan Montgomery with a really good start. And it's a 5-3 victory for the Angels. So Horacio Walker had an excellent month of June. Jordan Adams with another really good June. Good to see him come back from injury and perform well. You know, if something were to happen to Deshaun Knowles or anybody else on this team, he would be the guy that gets to call up. Looking at the injured list, though, Patrick Wisdom has about 2 to 3 weeks left on the injured list, and then he'll finally be back. So that's something to really keep an eye out. As Chase Silseth out of the bullpen is being considered for Cy Young. He's got a 10-1 record, a 2.72 ERA, 93 strikeouts. Out of the bullpen is ridiculous. Yeah, that's something to look out for. You know, Chase Silseth, could he win the Cy Young as a reliever? Yeah, he's really good. He's somebody that we've relied on a lot. Well, we covered pretty much the entire month of June here in this episode, except for these 3 games against the Astros. That was the previous episode. But we started here and we finished right here. We're 50-37. The next episode is going to be the entire month of July. And then from there, there's a good chance we might slow it down the rest of the way out. And I know we got the new college football game coming out soon. But July is going to be filled with the All-Star break, the MLB draft, the trade deadline. You know, July is a pretty packed month, and I don't really like breaking that month up into 2 episodes. It really just doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm enjoying this team at the moment. The pitching is still being dominant. Fernando Guillen is just incredible at the moment. Chase Silseth's a potential Cy Young candidate with 93 strikeouts. And then looking at the rest of the bullpen here, they've all been really good. Ronnie Enriquez has really blown me away. Caleb Ferguson, his ERA has gone down since the beginning of this episode. Tanner Scott's been incredible. Andrew Wantz as well. And then looking at the lineup here, got a lot of players that are playing extremely well at the moment. And I think we made the right moves. Kemp Alderman getting an opportunity, 303 average with 8 home runs. Sean Skinner, he's one guy that's really kind of struggling at the moment. And maybe it's time for Austin Hayes to hop back in and get some more at-bats. I'd hate to see Skinner's development go down, but it's not really. You know, he's still got some improving to do. Zach Neto, kind of a question mark of the future, but at the moment, he's done everything we've asked of him. Deshaun Knowles has performed pretty well, and Christian Bethancourt, our new backup catcher, I think that was a really good move, and that was just a perfect timing move. You know, Elias Diaz, I was getting sick of him. I said, well, let me look at the players that have been sent through waivers. Well, Christian Bethancourt's there, and he's the perfect pickup. But we are 50-37, 4 games back of the American League West. The Astros still dominating. We're 18-4 against division opponents, and then we're still that number 1 wild card team at the moment. You know, really pleased with the way we're playing, as that's going to cap off this episode here. We'll get through July in the next one, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.